Today we're going to talk about perimeter and area of composite figures. Okay, first of all, perimeter is around the shape. You add all the sides together, all the outside sides, you add them together, and then area is inside the shape, or what's the measurement inside. Alright, so we're going to find the area and perimeter of each composite figure. So starting with this, the perimeter is the outside, so we know this is 10. So 10 plus, this is 18. If this is 18, this side has to be 18 because this is a square. So this is 18. And then this is 13. And since you have these little tick marks, we should know that this side would be 13 also. So we'd add 13. So we'd add all those together and we should get 72. And it's 72 meters. And that is our perimeter. So P, our perimeter, okay? So now I'm going to erase what I did up here, and I'm going to talk about the area. The area is the inside of that shape. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to break that shape into different shapes and find the area of each individual shape. So as I said with perimeter, this here, this black, is a rectangle. So we can find the area of a rectangle, and the shape that's left is a triangle. So area of rectangle, area of triangle. So the area of a rectangle is 18 times 10 because it's length times width, which is the area of a rectangle. And so that's 180 meters squared. And then the area of the triangle, so this is 10 here. This is 13, this is 13. But in order to find the area of a triangle, you need base times height divided by 2. My base is right here, which is 10. Times my height. My height has to make a 90-degree angle with that base. So this side is 18 right here. So from here to here has your x. We're trying to find that. This is 18, this is x. 18 plus x has to equal 30. So 30 minus 18 gives you the height, which x is equal to 12. So this height right here is 12. So I'm going to take that times 12, which is your height, divided by 2. So I get 120 divided by 2, which is 60 meters squared. And then you take these two to get the area of the whole thing, and we combine them and add them. So 180 plus 60 is 240 meters squared. So that's the area of those two figures together, the composite figure, the whole thing. Okay? Alright, let's go to number 2. So now we just have to find each side. So this is a 6, so that makes this 6. Okay, and then we have to find these lengths right here. So to find these lengths, we're going to use our handy-dandy Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to make a right angle here. We know this length is 10. Okay, so that would leave, so 20 minus 10 would be 10, and so leftover would be 5, so these have to be 5. And then this height, the whole thing's 18. So my height would be 18 minus 6, which is 12. So this would be 12, this would be 12. And then using our Pythagorean theorem, we do 5 squared plus 12 squared. And then you would square root it, and these would be 13 and 13. Okay, so now what we need to do is, I don't need this information anymore, so I'm going to erase it. We don't need anything inside because we're just finding the perimeter. To find the perimeter, we just have to color all the sides. So 10 plus 6 plus 6 plus 13 plus 13 plus 20. So 5 should be gone. Okay, and you add those all together. So 10 plus 6 plus 6 plus 13 plus 13 plus 20, and you end up with 58, and this is 58 centimeters. So that is the perimeter around my shape. I added all the sides together. Now we're going to do the area of our shape, okay? So now to do the area, you're going to have to find a couple shapes. So we could do a rectangle and a trapezoid if we know the trapezoid's formula, okay? So I do know that this is 10 here because the opposite sides are 10. So we're going to find the area of a rectangle and then a trapezoid. So area of rectangle, area of trapezoid. So area of a rectangle is length times width. So I would do 6 times 10, which equals 6 times 10, which gives you 60 centimeters squared. And then to find the area of a trapezoid, you have to do base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times your height. Okay? So then if I look, my height is this length here. It has to make a right angle with the bases, both bases. It has to make a right angle. So we did this already when we found the perimeter. We found this was 12 because 18 minus 6 gives you 12. So from there, we have our two bases and we have our height of the trapezoid. So my base 1 is going to be 20, my base 2 is going to be 10, and my height's going to be 12. So 20 plus 10 divided by 2 times 12. So I'd get 30 divided by 2, which is 15. 15 times 12, which gives you 180. So this is 180 centimeters squared. And then you combine 60 plus 80, which then gives you 240 centimeters squared. That is the area of the whole thing. If you want, if you do the shape, you can always shade in. So I did this shape with the area of the rectangle. Now I did all this. Now everything is shaded in. Okay, number 3. So now we have to find the perimeter. We have this side is 5, so this side has to be 5. This is 3, this is 3, this is 3, this is 3. But we have to go ahead and find this length here. So to find the length of a circle, you're going to find the circumference. And this is technically half a circle, but if you look, here's half the circle, here's half the circle. They're the same circle. If you put them two together, that would make a full circle. So I technically find the circumference of a full circle. Circumference is 2 pi r. So if I do that, I have to find my radius. So I have 2 pi, and then I need to find my radius. So the whole thing across here is 15. But we have to subtract out 3 and 3, so 15 minus 3, which give you 9. The whole thing across is 9. So to get a radius, it's half that, so 9 divided by 2. So my radius from here to here is 4.5. So I'm going to times that by 4.5. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 times 3.14 times 4.5, which ends up giving me 28.26. But that's for both of them. So let's divide it by 2 to get one of them. So if I divide this by 2, I end up with 14.13. So this length right here is 14.13. This length right here is 14.13. Okay, so from there, let's go ahead and add. So I have 5 plus 3 plus 14.13 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 14.13. That's that, plus that last 3. Guys, you don't have to do the coloring on the outside, but the thing is it will help you in the long run not to miss a side. So let's go ahead and type that in our calculator. And you should have gotten your perimeter to be 50.26. And we label, so it's millimeters. There's my perimeter. Okay, now I'm going to go to my area. So now we want to break it into different shapes. So you look at the shape, and some people will see different shapes, but what we're going to focus on is trying to see the shapes. So I see that I could take this shape and go like add a line here and add a line here. Now I have a rectangle and then I have 2 half circles, right? So I'm going to find the area of each one. So I'm going to find the area of rectangle, and then I'm going to find the area of a half circle, circle 1, and then the area of circle 2. Technically, these are half circles, and together they make a full circle, so technically I only have to find the area of one circle. So let's go ahead and find the area of the rectangle. So this is 5. This all the way across is right here, which is 15. So 5 times 15 gives me 75. So this is 75 millimeters, this whole thing in the inside. Okay, then we went over this, and we had 9 for the diameter. My radius here was 4.5. And to find the area of a circle, so my area of my rectangle is 75 millimeters squared. to find the area of a circle, you do pi r squared. So we have pi, our radius of that circle was 9 divided by 2 because diameter is 9 divided by 2, it's 4.5 times 4.5, and you have to square that. So when I type that in my calculator, 4.5 squared times 3.14, I get 63.585. Remember, that's the whole thing, but we're only talking about half, so I divide by 2, and I end up with 31.7925, which this area of the circle 2 should be the same. So 31.7925, and this one is 31.7925. And then we add all those together. So 31.7925 plus 31.7925 plus my 75, and your total area of this shape is 138.585. And we label it so millimeters squared. All right, moving on to number 4. Number 4, so we have to find the perimeter first. We have to find the perimeter and we have to find the area. So we know the Pythagorean theorem, so to find a side, this is technically a square. So to find one of these sides, we can find this side by using our Pythagorean theorem. So Pythagorean theorem, 7 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. So 7 squared is 49. 49 plus 25 is 74. Square root of 74. So 74 equals c squared. Square root both sides. We get square root of 74 as c. So if I write square root of 74 here, this is square root of 74. This would be square root of 74 because this is a square. And this would be square root of 74. Let's go ahead and round it to the tenths rather than putting square root of 74. Let's go ahead and change that and change it to 8.6. 8.6, 8.6. Okay, and then we still have to find, so I have this side, I have this side, I have this side, but all I have to do is now I need to find this side right here, this circle. So I know circumference, right, because we're finding a length, so that'd be 2 pi r. My radius is half of 8.6 because 8.6 is the whole thing. My radius is 4.3, so half of it's 4.3. So we're going to type in 2 times pi times 4.3 to get your circumference or that length around. 3.14 times 4.3. That gives you 27.004. That's that length. So I'm going to go ahead and add 27.004 plus my 8.6 plus my other 8.6 plus 5 plus 7. So to get my perimeter. And so my perimeter would be 56.204 centimeters. Now we have to find the area, and I've already broken it down into 3 different shapes. So I need area of triangle, area of square, and lastly, area of half circle. So triangle is base times height divided by 2. Base and height have to make that right angle, so I'm going to use 5 and 7. So 5 times 7 divided by 2. 5 times 7 is 35, divided by 2 is 17.5. Okay, then this is 8.6 times 8.6, or square root of 74 times square root of 74. And if you do it that way, you're just going to get 74. And then that half circle is, you're going to do pi r squared divided by 2 because it's half that. It's not a full circle, it's half of it. So we have pi, r was 4.3 squared divided by 2. So 4.3 squared times 3.14 divided by 2, which gives you 29.0293. So 29.0293, that would be here. So plus my 17.5 plus my 74, which ends up giving you the area of this shape is going to be 120.5293. And we label it centimeters squared. It's 120.5293 centimeters squared. All right, last one for today. Okay, so we have two shapes. We have to find the perimeter first. So let's go ahead and find the perimeter. So this is 14. We know that. We can find this. We have to find that by doing our circumference again. And it's a half circle, so I'm going to divide by 2. And it's 2 pi r. So 2 times pi times radius. The whole thing's 20, so half of that would be 10. Divide by 2. So I get 10 pi, which 10 pi, and that would be 31.4. So this length right here is 31.4. Then this we have is 32, and now we need to find this length here, which we know this is 14. This is 20 from here to here, so this leaves this to be 12. So then we do our 12 squared plus 14 squared equals c squared. So 12 squared is 144. 144 plus 14 squared is 340. So I get 340 equals c squared. Square root both sides. And we end up with c is equal to the square root of 340. So this would be square root of 340, which actually ends up being about roughly 18.44. So we're going to call this 18.44. Okay, and so to find the whole area, you're going to do 14 plus 31.4 plus 18.44 plus 32, which ends up giving you the perimeter of 95.84. Okay, now we have two different shapes. I see a half circle and a trapezoid, so I'm going to find the area of the half circle and then find the area of the trapezoid. So area of trapezoid, area of half circle. So if I look at the trapezoid first, I have base 1, base 2, and my height is 14 because that's making that right angle. So the formula for area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times your height, which would be 20 plus 32 divided by 2 times my height, which is 14, which ends up giving me 364. So 364, and this is millimeters squared. So that's the area of the trapezoid. Now I have to find the area of the half circle, which would be pi r squared divided by 2. So my radius is 10 because the whole thing across would be 20. So my radius is 10. So I have pi times 10 squared divided by 2, which gives you 100 times 3.14 divided by 2, which gives you 157 millimeters squared. Approximately, not exact. Okay, and then we add those together, 364 plus 157, which ends up, my whole area of that composite figure is 521 millimeters squared. All right, that is composite figures.